folks, welcome to Fyreflye's Follies. I hope that you enjoy the video today. If you do, please don't forget to give me a big thumbs up. It really does help my channel out a lot. And if you haven't subscribed, I hope that you'll subscribe and stick around a while. Today I am making apple butter. Now, I have a friend who made me noodle boards, and if you don't know what a noodle board is, it's a beautiful wooden stovetop cover. He also made one for my sink, which is what my camera sits on when I'm filming. So to thank him, I found out he loves apple butter. So I'm going to make him some apple butter. So I am going to peel and chop my apples. My friend Shelly got me this apple peeler core for Christmas last year because I have Wombaroos. If you've been around a while, you know that I have Wombaroos. I talk about my girls a lot. And I make applesauce for them. They love applesauce. And typically, I make a big batch of applesauce about once a year. And this little thing right here is just amazing. That quickly, you can peel and slice an apple. And all that I do is split it in half and check and make sure that I got all the seeds out. That one looks good. Drop it in my pan. So I'm going to keep peeling, and once I have all of these peeled and sliced, I will bring you back. Okay, I got my apples all peeled and cored. The machine slices as it goes, so it's great. I end up with a whole lot of pieces that are nice and thin, and they're actually pretty uniform, and they're peeled. Just the tiniest little bit of peel comes off. So that machine is a lifesaver. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 2 cups of apple juice to this, and I'm going to set it on low, and I'm going to let it heat up, and then I'm going to turn it to medium, and I'm going to bring it up to a simmer, and I'm going to simmer it for about 20 minutes, and then I'll check it and see how tender they are. So once I have that done, I will bring you back. Okay, so I don't know if you can see it there. Okay, so my apples have cooked. I've had them at just below a boil, a hard, firm simmer for about 30 minutes or so, 25. I've stirred them 4 or 5 times. About every 5 or 10 minutes I come through and give them a stir. Now, at this point, you can use an immersion blender, you can use a potato masher. I'm not going to do either of those things. These are very soft, and I'm going to be cooking them for about 3 to 4 hours on very low, just as low as my stove will go. And as I stir, they'll continue to break up. They've already broken up a lot just from the stirring that I've done. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add my sugar and my spices. Now, I do not have clove and nutmeg. I have cinnamon, but I don't have clove and nutmeg, but I do have apple pie spice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use apple pie spice, but I will put the exact ingredients in the description box below. I've adjusted it for the weight of apples that I have. I had 5 pounds of apples. Just under a cup and a half. I don't want it super sweet, but I didn't pack it down really firm, and it's not quite full cups or full measuring cups. So I'm putting in a cup and a half of brown sugar and the apple pie spice, and then I'm going to give it just under a half a cup of sugar. Now these were really tart apples. If you use sweet apples, you won't need as much sweetener. And I'm starting under what my recipe calls for because I can adjust the sweetness level as they cook down. So I'm going to add my sugars in. I've got my spices in. Now, once I've got all of my spices and my sugar stirred in completely, I am just going to put the lid on it, and I'm going to let this low simmer, as low as my stove will go, low simmer for about an hour, hour and a half with the lid on. And then I will set the lid ajar on it, kind of like this, so that it can start to reduce for the second hour, hour and a half. Now, I can remember growing up, we made this one time that I can distinctly remember. And we made a huge kettle, and we did it outside over the fire. And it was an all-day process. We peeled and cored bushels of apples, and they went into my granny's giant pot that she used outside over the fire. And we sat out and we stirred all day long. And as it cooks, it breaks down and you get that beautiful, dark, rich apple flavor that you get in apple butter. So I'm going to let this simmer for about an hour and a half. I'm going to stir it about every 10 or 15 minutes. And once I've gotten it maybe hour, hour and a half, when I'm ready to set the lid ajar, I will bring you back and show you where we're at. Alright, y'all, I wanted to bring you up here. Maybe you can see what I've got going on. So this huge kettle of apples that we started with this morning has been simmering for about 2.5, 3 hours with the lid on. And I've come through about every 10 or 15 minutes, and it's literally just every once in a while it bubbles. So it's at a very low simmer. So what I've done is every once in a while I've come by and I've given it a good firm stir, and about every second or third time I chunk up a couple more of the little chunks that are in it, and they are breaking up real nicely as I stir. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to leave my spoon sitting in it, and I'm going to put the lid back on so that it's vented. So now we're going to start reducing it down, and it's going to reduce. Let me see if I can get you where you can see it. So this is what we have right now. Probably going to steam up. So I'm just putting the lid on with the spoon, keeping the lid open just a touch so that the steam can start to escape. And I'm going to let it run like this for probably an hour, hour and a half, and then I'll take the lid off completely and let it finish reducing. So I'll bring you back in an hour, hour and a half when I get ready to take the lid off, and we'll see where we're at with it. Okay, so the apple butter has cooked down to about 1/4 of what it was. It's really condensed. It holds onto the spoon nicely. So it's a good I like the consistency. So I have my water bath canner that's nice and hot, and I put my lids, I brought some water up to a boil, and then I just dropped my lids in to heat them up. I grabbed some jars out of the dishwasher, and we are going to start filling jars. And I have more jars in the dishwasher waiting. Alright, so I'm going to fill and debubble as far as this will go. Now I'm giving my friend half pints, but I'm going to keep 2 or 3 little quarter pints for myself because I tasted it. It turned out really, really good. Alright, so I'm going to debubble all of these and top them up to a 1/2 inch headspace. And let me assure you that these have sugar in them, so they are sticky, and there is no way to move this between jars and pan without making at least a little bit of a mess. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take plain white vinegar and a piece of paper towel, and I'm going to clean the rims of the jars. And this actually serves 2 purposes. Now, when I am getting my jars ready, when I'm getting them out and washing them, I check the rims for any nicks or bumps or anything that might affect the seal. Just running my finger around. So when I do this a second time, it gives me a second chance to make sure that there is no imperfections or anything that will interfere with my seal. I'm saving this one for last because I spilled down the side of it. Alright, and my lids are hot. So I'm going to put my lids on. And then I'm going to put my rings on fingertip tight. And then we're going to load these in the water bath canner. Alright, so I've got all the lids on and they are just fingertip tight. You can loosen them easily. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to load them in the water bath canner. It's already hot. I'm going to bring it back up to a boil. Once it's up to a full rolling boil, I'm going to let these process for 10 minutes. When the 10 minutes is up, I'm going to shut it off and I'm going to let it sit for about 5 or 10 minutes, and then I will bring you back and show you how they turned out. Alright, the 10 minutes is up. And I turn the heat off and I've let them sit for about 5 minutes. So now let's get the apple butter out and take a look and see what we have. Can I just tell y'all, my house has smelled so good all day long from cooking apple butter. And it makes me think of my granny. It's kind of got me missing her just a little bit, but apple butter smells so good when it's cooking. And it really does cook all day. sound. This one is just about to seal. I can see it moving. So 8 jars of apple butter, fresh from the canner. And it is just a beautiful, beautiful golden color. So I'll leave these sitting until tomorrow, and then I'll come back and I'll take the rings off and check the seals, and I will wash the jars and I will label them. And these are going in my pantry, and these are going to get pretty labels put on them because they are a gift for a friend of mine who was kind enough to make me some noodle boards. I really hope that you enjoyed the video today, and if you did, please don't forget to give me a big thumbs up and leave a comment. It really does help my channel out a lot. Feel free to share the video. If you haven't subscribed, I hope that you will, and if you hit that notification bell, they'll notify you when I upload a new video. Thank you so much for watching today. Have a great day.